As of the time of writing, a lot of attention has been thrown at two certain countries, USA and China. Both these two countries are large nations that have massive influence over the neighboring countries. Both are controversial in a sense, and both are respected by their peers. As of writing this, both countries are in hot water for a lot of things: cybersecurity, interconflict, shady businesses, and many others. But once again, both of these places command respect, and for good reason. These are two giants in various industries and aspects. In fact, one is a superpower and the other is a potential superpower. Both are established countries that are feared by small and big nations alike, and we wouldn't want to see what happens when they go violent. So, with that being said, let's see who'd win between the two in a war. Before we begin though, go give us a like, share, and subscribe so you'll be updated with all our latest videos. Anyways, we can't just write up a simulation/fanfiction for you guys. We're gonna have to rely on what they have as of the year 2020. So here, we'll be showing the tail of the tape. Largest resource, USA, defense budget. It's pretty well known that Uncle Sam loves spending on the military. In fact, the defense budget of the USA is the largest in the world. The most recent figure we know of is around $721 billion. Not million, billion. China only got themselves $178 billion, which is still a lot of money, but it's dwarfed by the sheer girth of America's defense package. In pure spending alone, America has gotten China beat. China, manpower. There's over 1 billion people in China, and that number increases every day. You'd be wondering why that's an important fact over a military showdown between two powers, but you must realize, in a war, the ability to create weapons and replenish casualties is vital to the success of a nation. China has roughly 5 times the population of America as of writing this. It is not stopping anytime soon. That being said, not everyone in China can join the military or work in factories out in the open. That doesn't stop China's personnel count though, as they have over 2 million people in their military compared to America's paltry 1.3 million. If these two countries were just to fling people at each other, America would need to reinstate the draft just to keep up. But these numbers aren't the only things that win wars though. Air Force, USA. America's overall number of military aircraft dwarfs China and is around 5,370 at the time of writing this, and they're impressive in terms of variety alone. F-35 Lightning, F-22 Raptor, F-15 Eagle, these jets help maintain USA's air superiority. Aside from that, they have more sophisticated avionics, a larger fleet of 5th generation aircraft, and a huge number of support aircraft such as tankers and AWACS platforms. Their pilots also train 20 to 30 hours more per year than Chinese pilots, also in more realistic scenarios. The R&D is insanely good for the USA due to the large military budget that they can work with. China. To open, China has an impressive amount of planes, 3,010 of them as of writing this. Right now they're planning on increasing those numbers as the country is building and buying aircraft much faster than what the US is making. In a few years, they'll probably match the number of aircraft that the USA has. What they have now, though, that can be called an advantage is the J-20 stealth fighter, but it's low in numbers. It is considered a, quote, poor man's version of the F-35. The other aircraft they have are older but fully functional models. Navy. Let's get this out of the way. The United States is the world leader in aircraft carriers. This comes as a huge advantage for them since these things are basically moving bases of operations for launching airstrikes and whatnot. USA has a whopping 11 aircraft carriers, and that's only the tip of the iceberg for them. 430 naval ships on active and reserve duty, 300 of them immediately deployable. The submarine fleet is also another threat, which is 66 subs in total. In the early 2000s though, they have shown weakness. Their anti-submarine exercises have crumbled, but that's not what we know about them in the current year. Nowadays, there's been help from partner nations and the US itself to make its anti-sub capabilities something to not be trifled with. This is due to the fact that they're fully aware of what might happen if submarines are left unchecked. China. China right now rocks 335 naval ships that are currently active. That's 5 more ships than what the Americans have. They also have 8 more submarines than America. The problem lies in the other aspects though. While they have the numbers advantage in those two categories, China only has 2 aircraft carriers, and only one is considered combat ready. Their anti-submarine assets are also lacking severely. Once again, they don't have the direct threat against America's girth, but they are growers, and it'll take a while before they catch up to Uncle Sam's naval presence. Land. USA. The biggest disadvantage the US has against China in land combat is the sheer amount of infantry and military personnel China has. That being said, why fight a war with men alone? That budget is so huge, you gotta use it somewhere. We already mentioned the superior technology in sea and sky, but how about land? How about 8,010 tanks? Let's not forget that the main battle tank of America is the M1 Abrams, which not a single one has been lost to enemy action yet. Once again, research and development done by the Yanks is limitless with the amount of money they're willing to spend on improving their defenses. China. As said before, the people of China outnumber the US population 5-1. And if done through sheer infantry numbers alone, China would win like a zombie movie. The fact that they have more than enough spares to just constantly get soldiers into an area would mean that they'd have the advantage with that alone. Vehicles though? It's gonna be rough since they only have around 6,560 tanks, and just under half of them are first generation that date back all the way to the Cold War era. Almost half of them are Type 59s, which were made in the 50s and 60s and are in need of a massive makeover. Moreover, they're kinda retired but kept in reserve. Space? USA. You'd be surprised, the American military has a new branch called the Space Force. I know what you're thinking, they might be Power Rangers. What they're supposed to do is, quote, organize, train, and equip space forces in order to protect US and allied interests in space, and to provide space capabilities to the joint force. It's clear as day that they're moving towards militarization, but we gotta know if China has something up their sleeve for this too. Satellites are also important if discussing stuff like this, as they provide so many uses for everyday convenience, and especially in war. America has 123 military satellites. China. Recently, there have been reports that China is expanding their space program at a rapid rate. In 2003, they launched a human being up into space and hopefully brought them back to Earth. Since then, they've been putting money in their space programs for more projects. They're the first country to put a rover on the far side of the moon, and they've discovered a lot of things there. They've also been launching more and more satellites and military spacecraft in recent years. They have 320 satellites moving around this Earth of ours, and 105 of them are military in nature. It doesn't really help that NASA's budget has been cut year after year, while China's space program gains money every year. Who knows? Maybe a satellite cannon superweapon is in the works, but aside from speculation like that, China has this one since they're gonna be more familiar with the environment. Nukes. USA, America has 6,370 warheads under their control. That's something to think about before sleeping. China has 320 warheads ready to go. Seriously, if a nuclear war broke out between these two, it would last seconds and nobody would win. These numbers don't mean anything. Without a doubt, China's status as a rising power is not something to be scoffed at. They're rapidly expanding on a lot of things in regards to their military strengths, but if we're talking about now, if a war between the US and China breaks out now in the years 2020 to 2021, no doubt about it, the US of A wins by a mile. Their superior technology in terms of land, sea, and air just absolutely mauls whatever China can offer. Sure, China has the manpower to do things, but as we said before, that's not how wars today work. Aside from that, America's been fighting war since its very birth, and even now you can say that the Americans are always at war with something or someone. Their leaders are grizzled veterans of strategy at this point. They'll know what's gonna work and what won't. There have been US soldiers in the Middle East since 1991 for crying out loud. China though, if we were told to write up what would happen if they fought around 2030, that would be a different story. With the trajectory of China's development as of writing this, they have an incredibly good chance of winning the next one. That being said, both these countries lost to Vietnam. So that was the matchup of the decade, China versus USA. What do you guys think of it? Tell us right down in the comments section. If you want to see more of our videos, humor us and check out the channel. If you can't get enough of us, give us a like, share, and subscribe, and click the bell icon to stay notified. As always, stay safe, don't launch nukes, and see you in the next video.